But the aha moment came when June 2020 throws of COVID. We're all bored. We're all on Twitter. Uh, Kids started like hitting up our DMs daily, like, and then one significant tweet that added up all the parents in the community we had was, "Why do you support your kids? And how do I get my parents to support me?" So everybody started jumping in, all the parents, like,
Yeah.
advice, how to talk to your parents. And then one of the parents came out, tweeted like, "You guys should start um, uh, a community, start a coalition, parent group, and call it Cope." So that night, Shay looked it up and was like, "There are no resources here for parents. There are no parent support groups."
Mm-hmm.
So next day, Shay filed the paperwork, and we were off and running.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come on and share their stories, experiences, and advice. And today, I am super excited. I got something different today. I've got Chris from Cope. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, happy you're able to do this. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I first heard about you guys through Ann Benji Fishy, and she was on a pod and talked about working with you guys. Both of you guys have kids that, went through the sort of the esports, what is this crazy thing, and helping them get through it, and along the way helping parents sort of learn about it as well.
Yeah, Anne is absolutely amazing. Known her for a few years now. She was involved with the launch of Cope, relying on her as a parent advisor. So yeah, we took different paths to get to where we are.
Yeah.
Our kids took different paths, but yeah, we share a lot of similarities, a lot of the same struggles. So it's always good having that parent network that you can rely on and lean on.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're going at it by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what we do on the pod is to get things going, we go with 3 random questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Favorite place you ever traveled to?
Ooh, favorite place I ever traveled to. Kind of a toss up. Berlin was amazing.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go there with my son. Um, yeah, Berlin, top of the list, and New Orleans.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, New Orleans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's been a while since I've been there,
Yeah.
but beautiful place. Love it. Great food, great beer.
Okay. All right. Second question. So you get to kick any drummer out of the band throughout rock history. Who are you kicking out so you can step in and be the drummer?
Oh, that is so tough. It's like you want to kick Ringo out so you can be part of the Beatles, but then they wouldn't be the Beatles without Ringo, you know? But no, I mean, growing up, I learned how to play drums playing along with The Who
Yeah.
and James Brown. But again, like, you can't kick any of those guys out of their bands. But yeah, I would love to just sit in,
Yeah.
even just for a set with The Who.
Ah, very cool. And for those who don't know, Chris is a drummer in a band called Moon.
Moon, that is correct.
Yes. And actually, funny that you said New Orleans. There is a band we discovered years ago out of New Orleans that their main singer is the drummer. And it's Cowboy Mouth.
Okay, I'll have to look them up.
And he plays center stage, and he plays barefoot. He comes out in shorts and a t-shirt, and a barefoot drummer. So much energy. It's amazing.
All right, those are 2 things I can't do: is sing while I'm playing, or I just can't sing at all in general. And playing barefoot, I've tried it so many times, but it just ends up hurting my toes, and I'm not too good.
All right, third question. If you're going out to a restaurant, what are you getting? What's your favorite thing to order?
I mean, my favorite food, hands down, pizza.
Yeah.
Anything with cheese on it. But yeah, I will chicken parm guy.
Oh,
Kind of
yes.
grew up in an Italian household, so yeah, any Italian food.
Nice.
throw it on my plate.
Now, you said grew up in an Italian household. Is it okay to have pineapple on pizza?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes.
All right, good answer.
But
Uh-oh.
another hot take here is pepperoni doesn't belong on pizza. It makes it too greasy, and I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
So I'd rather have pineapple over pepperoni.
Nice. So. All right. All right. So let's jump into, before, cope, esports and everything like that, sort of what is your background before whole gaming aspect of things?
Before gaming, I had a I was I went to college for English writing. I was dead set on being a journalist. That's what I wanted to do, wanted to write, and couldn't get a job after college. So I ended up just getting a job at Developmental Disabilities Institute, working hands-on adults with autism,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with it.
Oh,
Love working with the guys, love the field, and I ended up staying there for 22 years.
oh
I was a
wow.
director for Developmental Disabilities Institute up in New York. And yeah, I mean, I went to go back to school for my master's for secondary ed.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see myself sitting in a classroom
Yeah.
because I really enjoyed what I was doing. So I stopped going, stopped my master's halfway through,
Yeah.
and moved up the ranks with DDI. And yeah, 22 years there.
Oh wow. And now, with autism 20 years ago, it wasn't, like did you have all of the sort of, umbrella all the different flavors of autism that is out there today that's sort of diagnosed, or was it really just, one sort of one name across, the whole thing?
It was, yeah, it's not as kind of in depth and granular as it is now with
Yeah.
all the different diagnoses. But back then it was just all under one umbrella.
Yeah.
It would range from some of the higher functioning individuals to the lower functioning,
Yeah.
verbal, nonverbal. But that was really as detailed as it got.
Yeah.
Um, but that being said, all the guys were looked at as individuals.
Yeah.
They all had they were who they are.
Yeah.
When it comes to diagnoses, yeah, it was just all under the umbrella.
Yeah. Ah, interesting. Yeah, and I'm sure like the coping skills back then were far different than what, that's out there today too.
They are, but with DDI, we were very fortunate to work with a lot of great people over at Stony Brook University
Yeah.
on Long Island, and we kind of paved the way for positive behavioral support. It's one of the support methods that's out there, using a lot of just positive reinforcement,
Yeah.
um, just building individualized programs around
Okay.
the guys that way.
Oh, cool. All right. So now your son is a gamer. Were you a gamer growing up?
Casual gamer.
Okay.
Dating myself here, I started playing on Atari,
All right.
um,
That's okay.
the original NES. So there wasn't a lot of competitive gaming back then,
Yeah.
uh, and if there was, it was hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was more of a casual gamer with my friends,
Yeah.
brothers, just hanging out playing, uh, the likes of RBI baseball, Tecmo
Oh
Bowl,
yeah.
surf and skate on the NES, all the old school
Yeah.
classics.
California games and all those
That's right.
things. Yep. I'm right there with you. I got a few years on you, but I remember in the mid 80s, we actually had a game show about arcade, like it was called Starcade, and it was a video game gaming show.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's what I was missing. That's what I didn't find when I was younger.
Yeah. It was sort of like the 30-minute game show. You have like these four people on, four kids, and they're playing like, Donkey Kong, Centipede, and whoever, got the best score, they moved on to the next round. It was as a kid, it's like, oh my God, video games on TV, we were rocking.
That's heaven right there. That's all
Yeah.
you need.
So now, do you still play games today?
Um, I do, but I'm more of a, I tried playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Once you stay in the building, like that really throws me off
Oh God,
and
yeah.
loses me. But when my son was growing up, we would play Halo together.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm more into the Mario Kart
Yep.
type of games. That's more my speed
Yep.
nowadays. I've been getting back into 2K lately.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to keep up with the kids in the house here. They give me a run for their money, but I'm getting there, getting my practice in.
Yeah. It's, I've got three kids, and I just, for years you're beating their butts in games, and then all of a sudden it happens. They're now quicker than you. They've learned. It's like, it's tough.
Yep. Yeah, it's once they hit that point where they beat you, there's no looking back from it.
Nope.
So beat your kids any way you can while you can. But I'm
Oh,
and I have one kid, right? So
yeah.
but I'm in a content house right now.
Oh,
So I have five kids here, my son and four of his friends,
holy cow.
all 19, 20, all hardcore gamers. So yeah, I can't keep up with them.
No,
Can't keep up.
no, not at all, I'm sure. Uh, Now speaking of your son, so your son,
Skeptic, yes.
Skeptic,
Yep.
Skeptic, and he's a Fortnite content creator. At what age did he jump, sort of start getting sort of notoriety for Fortnite and the content?
He started playing 13.
Yeah.
As soon as he was able to stream, he had his PC ready, had everything ready to go, and Fortnite came out around that time, and he was full speed ahead into streaming Fortnite. Um, Fast forward about a year when he had just turned 14, he had killed Tifu, uh, clipped it, went viral. Within a week, he had a couple 100,000
My
subscribers,
lord.
and he was being hosted on Twitch by Epic, by Fortnite. We were being flown out to TwitchCon. It was kind of a whirlwind, but yeah, around 14 was when it really took
Yeah.
off, and he
Wow.
kind of made a name for himself.
And now, as a parent, when did it kick into you that this is something special that's going on?
It really hit me when we stepped out of the Uber at TwitchCon San Jose in 2018. We, as soon as we got out of the car, like he ran into Hamlin's. Hamlin's knew who he was. He was being swarmed by kids for pictures and autographs, and it was just seeing that. Like it's different when you see it online. Their
Mm-hmm.
Twitter numbers blow up, their stream numbers blow up, but once you see it in person, like it's pretty eye opening.
Yeah.
So that's what really hit me. TwitchCon 2018 just hit me like a wall.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
And now back then, not that it was like that long ago, but 2018, did you know much about the whole esports thing, or is this sort of new?
It was sort of new. I mean, I had seen, yeah, there was a documentary on League of Legends that had just come out around the time. So I was familiar with esports a little bit. I was familiar with streaming on Twitch and YouTube content creation, but not to this level. Like I didn't know anything about TwitchCon. That was my first real
Mm-hmm.
experience with the entire community. So yeah, it was a lot of learning very quickly.
Yeah. And now, like, how did he do? How was it balancing, content creation, gaming, along with sports back then?
With traditional sports
Yeah, no, with like esports
or
and his content creation, and then getting him to go to school because now he's got this potential career. I'm sure that's a tough thing.
well, he blew up in the summer right after eighth grade.
Yeah.
Um, he went to high school for about 3 or 4 days. It was 4 days, and he came home. He's like, "That I can't do this." I'm like, why? What's going on? What's happening? And he was like, I got kids chasing me around school,
Oh my
asking
lord.
for pictures, kids standing up in class screaming my name out. He's like, I can't focus. I'm not going to learn anything. So it was at that point, decided to pull him out of school,
Yeah.
put him in online schooling, which was looking back on it, it was a great move. No knock against public school, but he learned at a different pace.
Yeah.
Dealt with some anxiety issues when he was younger. He's a very shy, quiet kid.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to kind of take those classes at his own pace was super helpful, and I saw a lot of improvement
Oh, good.
um, in his schoolwork, in his writing, math, all his test taking, all his test scores, and everything. Just drastic improvement. So he was able to be himself, and he was able to find his personality with streaming and creating content, and bring that over into his school and his extracurricular activities. But yeah, it was a lot. It was difficult for me being, one, a parent, then being a manager
Yeah.
and an agent and a social media manager. And I was his photographer and videographer, and now I was his teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So juggling all those different hats was tough, and
Yeah.
it meant like sitting down with him at times and being, making sure he knows like, hey, I'm putting on my teacher hat right now. Like this is my dad hat,
Right.
and we gotta kind of lay down the rules right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough. We definitely butt heads along the way,
Mm-hmm.
but we grew. It helped with our relationship over the years, and just kind of having that respect for one another as he got older.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do, being like you said, the teacher and the parent. Like I know when I took my kids to go, learn skiing, I said, I am not going to teach you because you act differently when you're on, what buttons to push. So,
Yep.
with a teacher, you're going to, you're not going to wimp out. You're not going to just, you're going to be a good kid like you are, and you're going to listen to the teacher. And that's the tough thing to do.
Exactly right. And that, that's a good point, because I was his little league coach and his soccer coach. He wouldn't listen to me on the field.
Yeah.
All the other kids, like running drills, tips on their batting and fielding, like they'd all pay attention. He didn't want to hear it because it was his dad.
Yeah.
So an assistant coach, he would pick up from them and learn from them. And it's no knock against parents. That's just how kids are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So now back then for you, so the resources you really had, like you said, you had that one documentary. Now you're managing brand management, like you said, you're his manager and coordination and everything like that. It was just. Did you have other peers back then to work with to help?
Not at first, no.
Yeah.
And when I say I was managing his content, I was just I was taking his lead, following his lead, learning a lot from him, because he knew the community better than I did.
Yeah.
So it was very different being able to take a step back as a parent and learning from your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most parents are like, I need to teach my kid, I need to show them the way, and be that parent, be that role model. But I was like, you know what? He knows more of this than I do. So it was like stepping back, letting him teach me, letting him show me the way. But just being there to manage it, oversee everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I said, it was difficult. There weren't really a whole lot of people that I could rely on or go to for those
Mm-hmm.
resources. The first group, Misfits Gaming, they were absolutely amazing. When he was 14, right after he blew up, before he signed with Misfits, we had so many orgs reaching out to us, small orgs, tier 1 orgs, hitting him up in his DMs, and just, you could tell it wasn't right. And it just didn't really sit well with me until I met Misfits,
Yeah.
Alex, who was with Misfits at the time, goes by the name Wings. He was absolutely amazing with just, he reached out to me, or he reached out to Griffin first. He was like, hey, can I talk to your parents? Like, that said a lot about
Yep.
who he was, about who the organization was. So being able to just talking to them and talking to Ben Spoon with Misfits, really let me know that, it's a good place. He's here for Griffin as a person.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to be treating Griffin like a product or a commodity. He was here, like, they wanted to sign Griffin, but it was known right off the bat, if he's not doing well in school, if he needs a break, like, he can do that. Like, they're there
Nice.
for him. Any resources he needs, any resources I needed. And it just, it started a great relationship between us and Misfits Gaming.
Nice. And now, what were some of the tougher things back then to sort of everything? It seemed like everything was tough because you're juggling like multiple things in there at the same time. But like anything that really sticks out was like, yeah, it was.
Oh man, the biggest thing was the toxicity in the community
Yeah.
at the age. I mean, kids are. It's gonna sound terrible, but kids are toxic in general, right?
The younger
Kids,
one, absolutely. Yeah.
13, 14-year-old kid, it's just in their nature to be bad kids.
Mm,
And it's no knock against them. It's just who they are. We're all
yep.
bad kids. I mean, varying levels of badness
Right.
there, but
Negativity, just like, oh God,
yeah.
Yep.
But you throw them online and it just gets amplified and escalated so quickly and gets so out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because kids feel emboldened and empowered to just say whatever they want,
Yeah.
without any ramifications, repercussions, and without seeing the damage that it does to the kid they're doing it to
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. So that was tough, and not just for toxicity towards Griffin, but he wasn't always great. He would say something that he thought was funny, but it was like, hey, that's not very nice. How would you
Right.
feel if somebody said that to you? So if I heard him saying something like that on stream to somebody, I would sit him down afterwards and we'd have that talk about treating people with respect and dignity, and just making sure he has an inclusive community where everybody feels safe to
Yeah.
go and hang out.
Nice. And now, what are some of the moments that you look back and you're like, the proud dad? What were some of the proud dad moments that you like, you can think of?
The best moment I've had where it's been proud dad is, this wasn't really one moment in particular, but he grew up around uh, work, coming to DDI with me and getting to know the guys, the individuals, and didn't really think twice about who they were.
Mm-hmm.
When guys go out in the community, somebody with a disability goes out in the community, they get second looks or stares or comments made. He didn't, he, that wasn't him. He knew they were just who they were, right?
Yeah.
And they were his friends. So when he has someone in his community who has autism or Down syndrome, like he would welcome them. He would pull them up on stream and play with them, and
Yeah.
whether it was, running bot races. And that was very, very proud for me as a dad, coming from that field and working
Mm-hmm.
with individuals with disabilities, that was a space for them to go. And he still talks to them, talks to some of the individuals, who talks to some of the kids who have disabilities like autism and
Mm-hmm.
Downs, and still talks to them. Who's still part of his community to this day. And we meet a couple of them when we go to some events, and
Yeah.
their parents are really grateful. So that makes me feel good that I'm doing something right.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because that age, that could be, there could be some really, mean things, that mean past that could go down when, if you see, things like that. But that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of pretty amazing things he's done before. I mean, he's only 19 now, and he's done some pretty incredible things in the short time of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the one that sticks out the most to me.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And now, you know, what would you say to some of the parents who have, they have that 13, 14-year-old kid that is just, blowing up right now? What would you say to them? How would you say, here's some things you really got to look out for, or here's some, things to work with them on?
First and foremost, I tell them just to be there for your kid. Talk to them. Don't push yourself on them, because they're still kids. They need their space. Yeah, they need space from their parents, but let them know that you're there to talk to them. Um, after Griffin's streams when he was younger, at first I would run in there and be like, if something went down, or if there was any toxicity, negativity, like, oh my God, are you all right? Let's talk about it. And he'd be like, Dad, I just give me a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me relax, decompress. So I knew, like, let me back off a bit. Let me give him that time to decompress. And he would come out of his room after a half hour and come talk to me. So that's when I knew, like, all right, the communication is there. He
Yeah.
knows he can come to me for anything. So just make sure your kids know you're there for them. Make sure you're around and available. Make sure you're on Twitch, you're on Twitter, you're on Kick, whatever streaming platform, social platform, so you know what's going on, and you kind of keep an ear out for anything that's happening.
Yeah. Very good. And kudos to you and Anne. You're the only two that I've met so far. But to recognize that the talent that you have, the potential and the opportunity for your child, and to make those bold moves of, hey, okay, we're going to do what we can to promote and get you on the best path. Because a lot of parents would, hesitate on doing the homeschooling thing, pulling them out of school.
Yeah, it was I mean, the way to look at it, like, aside from treating it like any other traditional sport, making sure your kid goes to, little league practice, soccer
Mm-hmm.
practice, basketball practice, he got pretty lucky and had a once in a lifetime opportunity to ride this out and kind of play it out.
Yeah.
No matter which way it went, he could have lost all of his followers after a month,
Mm-hmm.
um, and been just back to streaming to two people. But he stepped up, and he knew how to entertain people and keep them coming back for more. And um, yeah, it was just kind of riding it out. And like I said, once in a lifetime opportunity
Yeah.
that you just couldn't pass up.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, at what point was Cope born, or sort of started? Where did that? Was there a certain moment that, aha, or you met some people and here we need to do this to help other parents?
Cope was always an idea, in the back of Shay and I. Shay Williams, her son is Duster. We had been friends for a couple years now. About a year prior to Cope, we've always talked about, like, kind of a support network. Um, and that just kind of stemmed with meeting those parents in the Fortnite community and being that like tight knit group that we had on Twitter. But the aha moment came when June 2020, throws of COVID, we're all bored, we're all on Twitter. Uh, Kids started like hitting up our DMs daily, like, and then one significant tweet that added up all the parents in the community we had was, "Why do you support your kids, and how do I get my parents to support me?" So everybody started jumping in, all the parents, like,
Yeah.
advice, how to talk to your parents, and then one of the parents came out, tweeted like, "You guys should start um, uh, a community, start a coalition, parent group, and call it Cope." So that night, Shay looked it up and was like, "There are no resources here for parents. There are no parent support groups."
Mm-hmm.
So next day, Shay filed the paperwork, and we were off and running.
Yeah. And then the Coalition of Parents in Esports. That's what COPE is.
That's us. Yep.
And now, how did the kids know to reach out to the parents of you guys? Or was there just a known group of, Fortnite gaming parents or something along those lines that people would just ping? Or
Yeah, they knew us as, you know, Duster's mom and Sceptic's dad and
yeah.
Benji's mom and Crims's dad was early on supporter. So yeah, they all kind of knew us, and they knew to reach out to us. Like we had made a name for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but in a good way, we had gotten the respect of the community. We weren't we wanted to make it clear that we weren't there to be like nanny parents and hover over them and
Yeah.
keep them from anything that was bad, but we're here to support you guys if you need help for anything.
Oh, nice. And now,
Yeah.
one of the things I read, in the sort of the COPE statement is you guys, you're there to sort of disprove the negative stigma associated with esports. So, what are some of those misconceptions that you guys try to address?
Oh, there's so many. That gaming is esports solitary activity. That you're not an athlete if you're a gamer. You're not learning anything. You're melting your brain. You're wasting away in your parents' basement by yourself. So many things wrong. So many bad misconceptions about gaming and esports. We've seen, we've had, Shay and myself, and we've had the privilege of seeing firsthand what our kids have learned here. Branding and marketing at the age of 13 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wasn't doing any of that when I was 13. I wasn't branding myself, marketing myself, but
Right.
our kids are working with their friends. They're working with artists over in Turkey and different countries and making sure they're getting paid. They're learning finances. At 14, Griffin came down one day. He came down the steps and he was like, "Dad, I just got a sponsorship deal." I'm like, "What?" Like, I just negotiated a sponsor deal. I'm like, "All right, first of all, that's kind of illegal because you can't be signing anything. And second of all, like, that's awesome. That's absolutely amazing."
Yeah.
So he passed it off to me. But yeah, like these are the things that kids are learning, like real world skills that
Mm-hmm.
you're not necessarily taught in school. So yeah, being able to have that firsthand viewpoint, that vantage point that we had was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Now, something you sort of touched upon about esports not being a sport, and something I think is really cool. In my normal day job, we do a lot of put a lot of technology into schools and universities and whatnot, and some of it is working with the esports teams of like Division I schools. The fact that schools now have a Division I esports team, I think, is phenomenal because now you got the kids who can wear the school colors and represent UConn. They can represent Syracuse and be a part of the community.
Yeah, it's incredible how far it's come. And like even we're partnered up with Magic Gaming,
Mm-hmm.
Orlando Magic. Just watching those guys train and talking to those guys and hanging out with them, like they train at a performance center. They're out getting their exercise in daily, getting their workouts. They're doing mental training, physical training, you name it. They're out there doing it. Everything in an athlete that a traditional athlete
Yeah.
would be doing as well.
Yeah.
So
And I think this is something you shared with me about some corporations are now reaching out to sort of, build their own, esports team. Like they have the softball team and now you have the esports team where gaming is no longer, you find somebody you used to work with at the water cooler and say, You game? Oh, that's cool. It's no longer that secret, hush hush. Now it's okay to be gamers.
Yeah, I mean, they're using it to recruit new employees. Like IBM has, a corporate esports league, and all these other big companies like have their own corporate esports leagues, and they compete within the company and also compete against other companies. So yeah, again, it's crazy how far it's come in
It
such a
is.
short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I see on you have two boards. You have an industry board and you have a parental board. And the parental board's an NA and a EU side of from a board standpoint. Any chance of getting sort of representation down in Australia, New Zealand?
Yes, we actually have a few parents that we speak with frequently from Australia, who are big supporters. We're in the process over the next couple months of kind of revamping our board. Like the parents on there are going to stay on there. We're just going to be adding more to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we have a pretty strong network in Australia, which is great to see. A lot of parents down there,
Yeah.
like who don't necessarily have the resources because they're out in a remote area,
Mm-hmm.
but they're finding ways to get it done,
Yeah.
and making local community land centers for kids to go and play.
Now, are you seeing any difference between like the EU parents versus the North American parents, or sort of things they're running into, or something that's a little bit different over there, or really it's a lot of the common questions, common things that everyone's sort of dealing with?
It's a lot of the common questions. I mean, some of the differences kind of go back to like education with some of the different structures in schooling,
Yeah.
um, taxes as well, different tax systems and things that they have to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's great that we have that network over there. We've got different CPAs over in Europe who work with us and help us out. So yeah, but mainly a lot of the same issues
Yeah.
coming up as a parent and looking for those resources and finding them.
Yeah, especially if you've got, if one of your kids is making a lot of money coming in now, like, what do we do from a tax standpoint? And, that's, if a
Yeah,
parent doesn't really know what's going on, all of a sudden, hey, mom, here's $30,000 I have. And it's like, holy crap.
yeah, especially with a minor, and you don't know like what's that threshold that a minor has to, you know, submit taxes and
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
It's much more than just paying attention to social
Yeah.
media and their stream. Yeah, it's yeah. You need the help. Come to Cove will guide
Yeah.
you in the right spot.
And then on the industry board, it was nice to see you've got representation from a bunch of different gaming organizations and a lot of, a wide breadth of knowledge on the board.
Yeah, and a lot of the people on the board are the industry board are close partners of ours that we had met when we first launched,
Yeah.
who have been the biggest supporters from day one. Um, yeah, too many to name, but like we wouldn't be here without all their support,
Yeah.
and without us being able to rely on them for their help and their insight.
Yeah.
So
Cool. And now, how do you guys approach educating some of the parents, or educating the parents on the benefits of esports, and trying to address their concerns, such as, gaming addiction and the health issues that go along with that?
well, we take a couple different approaches. We meet a lot of parents and educators as well at events like Dreamhack and GCX. A couple weeks ago, we were at XP League, is a youth esports tournament. They had their North American finals down in Orlando at Full Sail University a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
A little over 300 kids were there competing. All their families were there, their parents, grandparents, siblings. So we got a chance to meet with them and talk to them. Some of them, they knew the ropes, they knew what was going on, and they were old pros at it. But some of them were very new and didn't really know what was happening, and they were just there to support their kids. And being able to sit down and talk to them in person, face to face,
Mm-hmm.
to see their eyes light up while they're watching their kids on the big screen is incredible. But we also, visit schools. We do a lot of podcasts,
Yeah.
a lot of meetings at schools. Tomorrow, I actually have a webinar, a town hall meeting with some parents from a youth league. Um, yeah, with school districts, we do town hall meetings as well, where we'll just come up and talk and open the floor up for them to ask any questions that
Yeah.
they have. So yeah, we're kind of all over the place, in
Nice.
person, virtual.
Yeah, that's actually was going to be one of my questions. Do you guys interact with the local, middle schools and whatnot? So that's, because I'm
Yeah.
sure that's, even in my little town, there's talks of like, putting together like esports teams and whatnot, and they may not know their, blank from the blank, but they, to know that there's organizations out there like that, like you guys are, to reach out and get help with. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And now, I think we talked a little bit before Dreamhack. You were talking about having the Cope Cabana. Did the
That's
cabana?
right.
How did it go?
It went great at Dreamhack. Very thankful like for everybody over at Dreamhack who has helped us. Guillermo, Claudia, like all the staff there, absolutely incredible. So yeah, Dreamhack kind of looped us in and folded us into their plans. We had a spot on the map that had
Nice.
Coke Cabana, Parent Lounge there. So that was pretty incredible. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, like 30 by 40 floor space.
Wow.
A lot of parents came down to network and hang out. We had our partners from Glorious there as well, who donated a bunch of stuff to us. Had a massage table. Parents and kids, gamers, while they're competing, breaks between gaming, they'd come over and get some massages.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of foot traffic, and yeah, we just have more stuff planned for Atlanta and all the future dream hacks
Yeah.
as well. Hopefully, going to be making it over to Sweden for winter as well.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, 30 by 40. That's some serious space they gave you. Because I know when we did trade shows, 10 by 10 booths were the start. And then, that's from prime
Yeah,
real estate you get.
yeah, we solved a need for them, and they really appreciated us and what
Yep.
we do, and very supportive of us from day one. The first day we met with them. So parents when they go to DreamHack or they go to these events where their kids are competing, if
Mm-hmm.
something goes wrong, the computer broke or they don't have a monitor, and they tend to get a little antsy and
Yep.
maybe you know talk a little loud back to some of the
Uh-huh.
staff who are just trying to help their kids figure it out. So they kind of redirect some of those parents over to us, and we help take
Nice.
care of them and help make them feel comfortable at home, ease any of their anxieties,
Yeah.
and kind of let them know that this happens. We just got to roll with it,
Yeah.
but their kids still going to be able to compete.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
now, since the inception of Cope, what's been some memorable highlights for you? Some like, some moments that you're like, wow, this is amazing that we did this.
Uh, Again, so many. Like I can't. It's still any event we go to. It's still hard to believe with how far we've come. Like we blew up very quickly as an organization,
Mm-hmm.
but last year and this year at GCX, we have a panel with Dr. Lupo
Oh, wow.
and potentially Tifu's dad. So it's like being on the stage with them. Like I don't belong there, but it's awesome. uh,
But you
but yeah,
do
I mean,
belong there though, because
it's
you created something that was really, really needed for parents and gamers, So, you're the first ones in there with this concept, and yeah, you do belong there.
I do. Yeah, thank you for that. But it's that internal insecurity that we
Right.
all have, and
Yes.
all the everybody from teenagers all the way to adults. So you just kind of never grow out of. It's like,
Yep.
wow, I'm up here with Dr. Lupo. This is pretty incredible. So
Absolutely.
yes, those are some of the things that stand out.
Cool.
Yeah.
And now, looking ahead, what do you guys have for like future goals or aspirations for Cope?
We're just focused on fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So we really want to kind of kick off, the Cope Community Fund. We really hope to get some scholarships out there for kids.
Nice.
We're working on some partnerships with PCs to run some giveaways, some grants to kids who are a little less fortunate, might not have the means to buy in, because of the high barrier of entry for
Yeah.
gaming. Um, so yeah, scholarships, Cope chapters. When you look at like high school football teams, baseball teams, they have booster clubs.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to get Cope chapters out there where esports clubs, esports teams in high schools have a chance to get their communities involved, get the parents involved, help raise money. Schools have the PCs, but they might not have the peripherals or the
Yeah.
jerseys. Just be there for them to help them raise some money for their kids and get the community involved.
That is awesome. So now, how can individuals or other organizations who are interested in supporting Cope, how do they, reach out? What's the best way?
You can find us on Twitter, CopeGG. You can find our website, cope.gg. Yeah, sign up for our newsletter. Best way to stay informed. reach out to us online, couple contact buttons on the website, hit us up in DMs. Um, yeah, any way that anybody wants to help, we're always open to bringing in more volunteers to help out.
Awesome.
Any ways they want to
Now,
be
are
involved.
there any big holes that you're looking to fill right now? So, somebody with certain specialty or training or backgrounds that you're like, man, if we had this person here who knew XYZ, that would be a great fit or something along those lines.
Biggest thing we're looking for right now is grant writing.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of the area where we know where to look for grants. We have an idea. It's just being able to find the time, the bandwidth to sit down and write up a grant proposal that's, they're very specific and have to be very detailed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking for a grant writer right now. Um, any extra social media help? Facebook is a huge hole that we're missing right now. And that's kind of the key to hitting. That's where all the parents are. They're all still on Facebook.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, we're looking for that parent, that somebody who knows Facebook inside and out, who can help us reach those parents.
Not the local administrator of the local town. You don't want that person,
That helps too.
Yeah. Oh man. So now, away from Cope and away from gaming, so you're a drummer in Moon, and also I saw something else. There's a link you had, Vibe Bio. So what's Vibe Bio?
So Vibe is my day job is I work for a director of marketing for a biotech company. So the mission is finding a cure for every community, with a focus on, when you look at pharma and biotech right now, it's all about funding those big projects that make money,
Yep.
right? And a lot of the biotech companies right now, when they hit like critical inflection points, where they could really be making a lot of change, they're running into walls where they either need more funding, they need more resources, and that's where Vibe steps in to kind of help finance, some of these biotech companies
Okay.
who are making moves to critical moves to find cures and drug development for underfunded diseases, helping them reach those inflection points.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So now Moon. What kind of, how would you describe Moon's music?
Whew, I don't like putting labels on the music. I like letting the music speak for itself, but it's straight up rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, heavily heavily influenced by Radiohead, Mars Volta, Afghan Wigs, Twilight Singers, Jeff Buckley, Beatles, you name it.
Yeah.
We're kind of all over the place.
All
So
right. And now, since we're talking a little about music, what concert stands out for you, and that you've experienced over the years? Is there one certain concert, a festival that stands out? It's like, yeah, that was amazing.
they've all been like so good. Um, one of the most memorable was seeing Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, favorite band. Seeing them West Palm Beach. There was a hurricane off way out over the ocean, but right on the water. We're watching them. Tide was rolling in. Waves are crashing in. Sunset right there. It was absolutely an amazing show. One of the best
Yeah.
best shows I've ever seen.
Nice.
Another one is Primus. First show I went
Oh.
to with my son last year.
Oh wow.
His first like rock show. He had been to like Rolling Loud. He's seen J. Cole, some other big hip hop artists, but
Primus
being
is
able to take
different.
being able to take him to his first rock show was memorable. I've got the Primus poster with the ticket behind me over here
Nice.
from the show, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, when you step away from the computer and the drum set, what do you like to do outside?
I'm a big card collector, baseball card collector,
Yeah.
and listen to music. Music always on. Listen to music, and I'm getting into fitness and working out right now
Nice.
with my kid. He's kind of roped me into going to the performance club with him, and trying to get into shape.
Oh, awesome. And now what's, baseball card collector, what's missing from your card collection? Is there any one that you'd love to get?
Whew, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I want to get. Any Mantle card that's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of big on my list. I'm still looking for a Jeter auto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any cards of his that are autoed. So yeah, I mean, I could have a whole list. I could,
And now,
I could
who's your
do.
baseball team?
I'm a huge Yankees fan.
Oh, okay. All right. So now, being a baseball fan, what's your take on the whole pitch clock?
I was very against it at first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting used to it now. My only issue with it is, see, I can watch any game, anytime, anywhere, and usually like late night. I'm up late. I
Yeah.
run those game wars, unfortunately or fortunately. So I'm always up late, but I've always got a game on. So I'd have an Angels game on, Dodgers game, but now they go so quick. They're
Mm-hmm.
over by like 12:15, 12:30. Like I got nothing to watch after that. So
Right.
um, so yeah, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there a ballpark out there that you'd like to see?
Uh, I'd like to see all of them. I really want to go. I have it on my list to go to Pittsburgh soon.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that's a
Uh,
beautiful, beautiful park.
yeah, I hear the city's beautiful and the park is beautiful. Just went to Wrigley last month.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, one of my favorite. As much as I hate the Red Sox, Fenway and Wrigley are two of the best places I've been to. Just
Yeah.
they're historic landmarks. So
There's just something special when you walk in and you look up and you there's the field, and it's just
yeah,
even yeah, it's just yeah, like you get goosebumps when you see that field.
yep. Just being able to see it and just the smell of it, the smell of
Mm-hmm.
the fresh cut grass out
Yeah.
there, and the smell of the ballpark. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's
something
there's
special.
nothing better than it.
No, absolutely. All right. Well, Chris, hey, thank you so much for doing the pod. We've come to the end, but before you go, though, like with every guest, I ask the guest to call out somebody who would be a good, would have a good story to come on the pod.
Ooh, who'd have a good story? I mean, my kid would have a great story.
Yeah.
Actually, also Blackline,
Okay.
marketing CMO for Cope,
Yeah.
director of marketing for Cope. He's got a great story. He came up from just being a gamer,
Mm-hmm.
and he got into the management side of it and found his way over into Cope as an intern. And next thing you know, he's been here almost 2 years now, and he's the director of marketing partnerships. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's got a pretty fascinating story. He's the example that we like to show all the parents. Like this is where your kid can go.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a really good point, that you don't have to be that, A-lister gamer cracking heads everywhere. There's many opportunities for you to excel and do well inside of content creation and streaming.
Exactly, and even behind the scenes too. Like like the event we were at Full Sail, like all the students put that together.
Yeah.
Production of the show, lighting, stage and set design. Like there's so much that goes on behind the scenes in esports, and so many career opportunities out there.
Yeah. Ah. And now speaking of your son, what's on his roadmap? What does he have going on these days that you may want to shout out?
He's doing a lot behind the scenes. I don't know if he got burnt out, but he'd been doing that for so long
Yeah.
at such a young age. He wanted to take a step back from the spotlight a little bit. So a lot of people are like, "Ah, you fell off," but no, he's doing a lot behind the scenes. He's working with other creators, other influencers. He's doing a lot of stuff on TikTok and Snapchat. So
Nice.
yeah, he's out here making moves, and he's big into investing, and he's got a lot going on
Nice.
for a 19-year-old to be doing as much as he's like. I wasn't doing half of that as a 19-year-old. I was in college partying, uh,
Yes. But
trying to find one of the next parties, but
the main thing is he happy? That's all we can ask
he is.
for. Yep.
Yeah, and that's all I can ask for. Like, um, yeah, just that's all you can ask for as a parent is seeing your kid happy,
Yeah.
and he's happy doing what he's doing. And that makes me happy and that makes me proud.
Excellent. Yeah, it's funny you said investing. My 20-year-old, my son, who's 20, he went down that path of investing and he's like, Dad, we got to buy Bitcoin. We got to buy Dogecoin. I was like, no, Ethan, no, let's just stop. But they got to
Yep.
learn, and, that's part of life.
Yep, I've been there with him, and I've been there doing it myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll learn.
Well, Chris, thank you again so much. It was awesome to meet you. And, good luck to Cope.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time and having me on. And yeah, it was great talking to you. Great getting to know you.